Hey, this is Jamie from Capsule Computers, and today we are reviewing A Plague Tale: Innocence. This title from Asobo Studio and Focus Home Interactive is available now for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Windows. At the time of the recording of this video, the game costs $44.99 US or $59.95 Australian. A Plague Tale: Innocence is a stealth action-adventure game set in an alternative version of 14th century France. War with England and the Black Plague has ravaged France. Not only the plague itself killing people, hordes of rats appear at night, consuming all flesh in its path. Amicia and Hugo are on the run from the Inquisition, whose leaders seem to have a special interest in Hugo. A Plague Tale: Innocence is a well-written coming-of-age story. Amicia and Hugo's characters feel nuanced. Amicia is more than just the heroine who seeks to protect her brother at all costs. She's also struggling to find the time to process grief and jealousy of her brother's close relationship with their mother in a trying time. The writers do an excellent job of creating a very human portrayal of Amicia, although I would have liked to see a little more time spent on Amicia's emotional struggle in the early game. The relationship between Amicia and Hugo is also well written. It's full of the love-hate moments many siblings will recognize. The dialogue is very good. There are a lot of children in the story, and their lines always feel appropriate for their age group. The writers also add enough lines for the guards that sneaking around never sounds too repetitive. In practice, A Plague Tale: Innocence is a stealth adventure game with some action sequences built in. The stealth system is simple but well executed. Since Amicia is a young teenager facing off against grown men, the stealth mechanics are more old school in nature. Players are given some equipment to distract guards and maybe even take down one or two, but generally avoiding combat is key. There are some short action sequences, but they are generally focused on escaping more powerful foes. The game is puzzle heavy. Most of the puzzles are not hard, though a few will probably require a few tries to solve. The puzzle design is smart, with many requiring players to control the flow of rats with light and alchemical projectiles to advance to new areas. The linear level design makes the stealth sections feel more like a puzzle, as there is usually only one way through. Enemies are generally lured by existing items in the environment, such as throwing rocks into metal items. Throwing pots is the only way to choose exactly where to lure the enemies, but those are rare. There are a few open areas that offer players some more flexibility. These sections highlight just how linear the rest of the levels are, though. A Plague Tale: Innocence's difficulty level is not very high. While it never gets easy to the point of boredom, the developers are more focused on the overall journey than testing player skills. There are a generous number of checkpoints for players to fall back on, an ample amount of crafting materials for alchemical projectiles is scattered around the world. I never felt like I had to ration projectiles if I fully explored a level. Even with a more direct run, though, there's usually a steady supply of materials on the path just before an item needs to be used. The game offers some last-ditch items that can save a player from death, but they're generally useless due to the generous checkpoints and the fact these items consume materials needed for equipment upgrades. These materials are rare enough to force players to choose their upgrades wisely, so wasting them on last-ditch items is pretty pointless. The game's controls are decent. The menu worked well for both controller and mouse and keyboard. The PC controls are on the simple side and miss some options like toggling or holding crouch. The controller offers two possible layouts, though both feel slightly non-standard compared to the traditional shooter layout that has become almost ubiquitous in gaming these days. A third layout or a completely customizable controller binding would have been preferred. The menus work well for both controllers and mouse and keyboard. Switching between animal types can be a little awkward in a tight situation, though. There are two unused directions on the D-pad that would have been great for binding favorited items. A Plague Tale: Innocence's graphics are excellent. The game's art direction is dark. The amount of gore in the game may not be everyone's cup of tea, but feels necessary given the theme of loss of innocence. Character animations and models are generally solid. The game's rats are visually impressive, though. The swarms move around like liquid, reacting to light and alchemical projectiles. A Plague Tale: Innocence's audio experience is fantastic. Sound is so important for stealth games, and Asobo Studio uses it masterfully. The sound effects are solid. I love subtle details like Amicia's breath quickening when enemies are nearby. The music is incredibly well done. The composer has created a soundtrack that is full of emotion. The music does a great job of building tension during stealth sections and injecting energy into escape sequences. Amicia and Hugo's voice actors do a fantastic job. There are plenty of adult voice actors whose work pale in comparison to these two child actors. Their performances make an already strong story absolutely captivating. Most actors playing smaller roles do a good job, though there are a few actors whose French accent noticeably falter from time to time. Normally, most people probably wouldn't notice, but Amicia and Hugo's performance is just that good in comparison. A Plague Tale Innocence is very much about the story, and there's nothing wrong with that. The story itself is fantastic. The characters are complex and relatable, even in dire situations. I can easily see this game being adapted into a movie. The gameplay may not be the star of the show, but it is solid nonetheless. It's just hard enough to be enjoyable without being frustrating. It's not perfect, as the levels can be a little too straightforward and the controls do have some minor quirks. The visual presentation is solid, but it really pales in comparison to the fantastic audio experience. Between the well-executed audio and the stellar performance by the two child actors playing Amicia and Hugo, the game is a delight for your ears. As long as you can handle the gore, A Plague Tale Innocence is a must-play for anyone who loves story-heavy games. I'm awarding the game 8 capsules out of 10. If you want to read this review, be sure to check out the link in the description or in the video's card. I hope to see you soon. This is Jamie from Capsule Computers signing off. Hey YouTube, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and subscribe to Capsule Computers for more awesome videos. If you're looking for more videos to watch, check out our review of Fade to Silence here on the left. If you're looking for another stealth game to play, check out our review of Assassin's Creed Odyssey here on the right.